I think the missing ingredient when we are talking to other people and we're thinking about our pronunciation isn't actually our pronunciation, isn't actually where we're putting our tongue, what we're doing with our mouth. And in some ways, isn't even really about our breath and our placement and other concepts we talk about a lot. I think probably the biggest consideration that we are really missing is the emotion of what we are trying to say. And so, today I want to demonstrate that to you so that way you can start thinking about this more actively in your own speech. And maybe this will change the way you approach your communication, not only in English or American English, but also in your first language. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show, which is Wake Up American. We're here Monday through Friday, typically between the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. to New York time, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for the day, because that's what it takes if you're serious about pronunciation. Showing up for yourself. I try to show up for you guys. Hello, my name is Jeff, or Rhymes with Breath. That's one of the 4 keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath. Trying to weaken your consonant sounds in order to strengthen your vowel sounds. We're going to be exploring emotion considerations through the use of a text today. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. This is an excerpt from a poem by Ellen Bass called Indigo. Okay, and I think the very first thing that I'd like us to do is I want to kind of create an emotional map of our text to kind of identify where the emotions we see kind of happening here. Okay. And this is a tool that you can do with any sort of text and things like that. And in fact, if you enjoy what we are doing today, I have an exciting opportunity for you that I think you'll like as well. So let's kind of find out where different emotions are appearing. Okay. Let's kind of go line by line or section by section a little bit. So like we have this first part that says we love but cannot take too much of each other. So big thing here is I get a sense of there's a little bit of a tension. I was working with another student, a word that they mentioned. There's almost like a stress that's kind of involved here, and also kind of just like a practicality. It's like, look, this is just a reality of how we feel. Okay, so that's the kind of the first thing that kind of stands out to me in that first part. Some people hanging out with us. What's up to Emmanuel? What's up also to Guy? The guy that has a question as well. Does it normally feel awkward when pronouncing certain sounds in a new language, especially when require movement when pronouncing it? Um, yeah, I think that's a natural sort of experience. Although I would say that don't overemphasize the movements because that may be causing it to feel even more awkward. I would focus a lot more on the breath. Start off with the vowel sounds. We have videos that kind of talk about if there's a word that's difficult for you to pronounce, how do you handle it? I would start with the vowels, then add consonants, and then make sure you're also getting the pitch range for the words right based on the syllables and the stress. But in terms of your experience, yeah, that's a normal experience. Nothing to be ashamed of there. It's just you'll get more comfortable with time. Going back to our text, so kind of starting off with a sense of like stress or tension. Um, then we get this part here. Yet she is the one who, and one of the things that I talked about the student earlier is that this word "yet" is really powerful. There's some words in English that you may be familiar with that just indicate transitions. Yet is one of those words, and when we see the word "yet," what that does is it basically almost negates what came before it. So if I'm feeling tense first, and then I use the word "yet," then whatever comes after it most likely is going to be some sort of relief or something brighter or something less heavy. So that's going to be something that we see here as well. Okay, so like, yeah, she is the one here. So this part here to me feels almost more like, I would say, like relief. Okay. When I asked her to kill me if I no longer had my mind. So now this is something that's very serious. So we've had tension and stress, we've had relief, and now we have something that's pretty serious. Okay. You have a person who's thinking about, um, think about their health if they're in a state where they can't speak for themselves or things like that. Okay. Um, and then we have this next part. We are on our way into Ross shopping for dresses. That's something she likes, and they all look adorable on her. Okay, so now we have kind of just like kind of just this like sweet moment. Okay, especially that ending part, like something she likes, and they all look adorable on her. Okay, um, so that's the basic gist of to start. Is, for instance, take a text or take something that you're working on, pronunciation wise. If you're working on a meeting or if you have a scripture preparing, you're trying to give like a talk, these are things I would be thinking about a little bit. Okay. Highlight or kind of map out what's the emotion of different sequences. Okay. In those moments, it may be helpful too to kind of highlight some keywords. Okay. It's like, for me in this first part, like the big emotional part is probably like that. We cannot take too much of each other. And that next part was probably the yet. Again, that yet's the heavy contrast. The next one, like to kill me. I asked her to kill me if I no longer have my mind. Okay. And then the last part, adorable. So I'm just kind of highlighting what are some words here that kind of convey some strong emotion that I want to convey. Okay. Um, so once I have those things, I want to make sure that when I actually start communicating that I'm able to convey that. Okay. So let's kind of think about emotions in terms of, for instance, we can start off with pit. What are some tools I can use to associate with different emotions? So I may associate, for instance, like love might make me think like brighter, happier. Okay, so higher emotion. Okay. Um, so I might start really high on like the love. Use a different color here. Let's maybe use like a blue. Okay, so I might start higher on the love, right? Like we love, but then I'm getting that tension and the stress, so like now I might be thinking, okay, let's maybe go down. Like we love, but cannot take too much of each other. Okay. Then I get to my relief, right? So when I think of relief, I'm going to be thinking, let's take things a little bit higher. Yet she is the one who, okay, so just you see already the things are kind of building. Like we love, we cannot take too much of each other. Yet she is the one who, so notice that we're just using pitch as an example, okay, of a tool we can use to convey the emotion. But we want to be thinking about what can I do with my voice to convey the emotions that we discussed. So now we're higher on the yet she is the one who, because we're showing relief. And then after that, when I asked her to kill me. So now we're back to being serious and things. So what I might do is I might go down in pitch, but maybe a little bit flatter. I'm trying to make it almost sound like informative, detached. When I asked her to kill me if I no longer have my mind. Okay. Then I'm in this sweet moment. It's a little bit of a story, right? It's a kind story. So for this full story, what I may do is I may go higher in pitch. Okay. So we were on our way into Ross, shopping for dresses. That's something she likes, and they all look adorable on her. Okay, so let's kind of just put everything together, and right now we're kind of just using pitch as the tool to convey the emotion. But there's so many ways that you can do it too, in terms of your body language, your breaths, your pauses, things like that. So we're gonna start high. We love, and then we're gonna get some tension, but cannot take too much of each other. Now we're going to go high again because we're happy. Yet she is the one who, now we're getting serious. When I asked her to kill me if I no longer had my mind. And now we're going sweet. We were on our way into Ross, shopping for dresses. That's something she likes, and they all look adorable on her. So altogether, we love but cannot take too much of each other. Yet she is the one who, when I asked her to kill me if I no longer had my mind, we are on our way into Ross shopping for dresses. That's something she likes, and they all look adorable on her. Okay. See again, we identified the emotional moments. We identified some key words in there we want to highlight, and then we played around, especially with like pitch in this example, to move it. Guys, if you found that helpful, one thing we're doing, this sort of text analysis, we're doing every single Wednesday. It's a group class that's open to everyone. You do have to register for it. It is a class, okay? But if that is something that you're interested in, I'm going to be posting some links in the replay in the comments. You can also find them in the video description to sign up for our class. We have about 5 spots available for every session. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, currently it's $30 for a seat. The class itself will last about an hour, hour and a half, more or less. If you're trying to get this practice in, let's get it, because this is going to help you completely transform how you talk. I promise you. A final quick question before I have to head out. This one from Tom Anderson. It says, "What's cracking? Please give the whole 9 yards on distinguishing short I sound and like in list versus get." This is definitely a combination that we've talked about before, so I would definitely scan our channel for short I sounds. We also just launched the Val Toolkit, which will give you much. If you want the whole 9 yards, that's going to give you the whole 9 yards. So if you go to fluentamerican.com and look up the Val Toolkit, that's going to go into much more detail than I'll be able to go into right now. But the simple answer is that for a short I sound, my biggest piece of advice is to have contact with the sides of your tongue and your top teeth, almost like biting the sides of your tongue, like eh, 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 like in list or give or this. So again, sides of your tongue making contact, top teeth. For the sound, like in best or get, you need to raise the back, raise the middle, and raise the front of your tongue a little higher. You want them to take a lot of space in your mouth. Close your lips. Don't open your lips so much, and it may help to have straight lips. Like So like best, get, less. So again, that sound, tongue really high, take up a lot of space in your mouth, okay, and block a lot of breath. Close your mouth more. Best, get, left, things like that. Those would be my real quick suggestions, but I do recommend the resources on the channel, or if you really want to go in depth, the Val Toolkit on the channel. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do have to run, but hey, thanks for being here. There's a lot of pronunciation resources out there, so the fact you're here is greatly appreciated. Hope you guys have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon.